as the defending champions begin their quest of back-to-back titles. It's game one between the Pistons and the 76ers. Good afternoon, everyone. Along with Dr. Jack Ramsey, Mike Green on hand. Jim Gray will join us shortly. We're certainly excited for the playoffs to begin, as are the Pistons. And Jack, last year what made them such a great team is how they played together as a team. No real superstar, but you feel there's one key member of this squad for this team to repeat.
It's Rip Hamilton for me, Mike. He is the generating force in their offense. Moves very well without the ball and creates scoring situations for his teammates. And he's a pretty hard-nosed, tenacious defender as well.
Well, we certainly know who's the key player for the Philadelphia 76ers. Many feel Allen Iverson had the best year of his career this season.
I think he did, Mike. He is an incredible penetrator. And since he's given the ball by Jim O'Brien, he generates offense for his teammates. He gets in the paint, finds open shooters. His teammates have to knock it down. Plus, he's second in the league in steals, and that helps the Sixers get those 17 turnovers a game that they need.
The Bud Light starting lineups, and for Philadelphia, 3 starters have never played in the playoff game. Korver, D'Alembert, and Iguodala. Of course, Webber and Iverson certainly have. Meanwhile, for the Pistons, perhaps the best starting 5 in the NBA. Phoenix might give you an argument on that, but Larry Brown's starting 5 has been superb once again down the stretch. As we send it over to Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. We've already had one minor dispute before the game even started. Allen Iverson wanted 1 ball. Chauncey Billups and Tayshaun Prince wanted another ball. Bernie Fryer had to step in because they couldn't agree. Well, the first call of the game goes to the Pistons. Bernie Fryer let some air out of the ball that Prince and Billups wanted. Mike?
Sometimes it's just a little feel that you have as you're warming up. Meanwhile, a good veteran crew on hand. Bernie Fryer, Jack Neese, and Louis Griot. As we're set for game 1 of best of 7. The opening round playoff series, now best of 7. There's Webber, who's played 21 games with the Sixers down the stretch after the trade from Sacramento. Nice feed to Korver, and an offensive foul. Korver pushes off, and Rasheed Wallace already with a good defensive play.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Sixers because Korver got all the way into the basket area. Should have taken it into the defender to draw the foul.
The Pistons won 11 of their last 12. Of course, last game didn't matter the one they dropped, but they were red hot down the stretch as D'Alembert got a piece of it, blocking Ben Wallace's attempt. And Iverson attacks the rim right away and gets the first 2.
Allen Iverson getting a head start, getting into the paint, driving to his right. He's best driving to his right. You got to take that away from him.
Iverson deflects it, and they force the turnover. They're the best in the NBA at that as Iguodala finishes. Because Philly sometimes doesn't shoot so well, Dr. Jack. The fact that they're number 1 in the NBA in forced turnovers leads to so many points.
Indeed, and they're great in the open court.
There's Tayshaun Prince, who's had a real breakout season. The numbers perhaps won't blow you away, but his performance will. As Hamilton got hit. No call. Iverson pushing again, finding D'Alembert running the floor. And Philly comes out to a 6-0 lead.
Sixers couldn't hope for a better start to this game. Getting into the open court, getting transition scores, and getting stops at the defensive end.
There's Hamilton. Gets inside once again. And the Pistons get on the board. Hamilton being guarded by Andre Iguodala, the rookie who is turning into already one of the better defenders in the Eastern Conference.
Iguodala is going to be a great player, Mike, and you're right. He's a very strong, tenacious defender.
Iverson. Webber left open. And Chris Webber knocks it down. They're 4 for 4 from the field.
And Iverson is right in the middle of everything good that happens for him.
The Pistons were 32-9 on their home floor. That's the 3rd best home record in the NBA after San Antonio and Miami. Rasheed Wallace with Webber. D'Alembert the rebound. It was so important for D'Alembert to play well against this big front line.
Oh, yeah. He's got to block some shots and got a rebound. So far, he's done both.
Webber left open again. Wallace takes his time, and Ben Wallace with a rebound.
Pistons don't want an up-and-down game. They try to work you in half court and get those opportunities.
Billups got hit in the head. Iverson picks up his first. And Chauncey Billups, 5th in the NBA in free throw shooting this year. They'll go for 2.
Watch Allen Iverson. He's driving it. He's dishing it. And a slammer jammer to finish the play.
Picks up the first. Billups second on the team, scoring first in assists. Had a terrific season once again after last year's NBA Finals MVP performance. This year, a career high shooting the ball from the field, from three-point range.
He's been especially tough on the Sixers from three-point land, Mike. 68% from three-point land in the four-game series against Philly.
Well, Jack, you bring up perhaps a weakness for Philly. They gave up more three-pointers than any team in the NBA this year, but Detroit's not really a big three-point shooting team. As Iverson, that's his second foul. A huge call. Excellent defense from Hamilton.
Yes, indeed. Rip Hamilton sensing the direction of the play, and it's a good call. Hamilton with possession. Let's take a look at it. Iverson into the defender. That's a charge, folks.
Again, you don't have to have your feet set. Hamilton maybe moving a little bit. As long as you beat him to the spot, it's still a charge. Jim O'Brien stays with Iverson with the two fouls. And Iverson has to back off on Billups' jumper.
And that's a smart play. Taking a player, and already Billups has an advantage over Iverson in size, posts him up, and gets the hoop.
Now, some will say this is a bit risky leaving him out there with the two fouls, but it all depends on the player.
Oh, yeah.
Certain players know how to play with the foul trouble as Korver knocks down the shot.
How about the quickness of that release? I think Korver probably shoots it quicker than any player in the league.
And the Sixers 5 of 6 from the field. All 5 starters have scored. Now Billups wanting to take advantage of Iverson's tough shot with 2 men on him. Not a good shot from Billups. And Dallenberg his third rebound.
Smart play by the Sixers. Put a double teamer on Billups so he can't back Allen all the way down.
Iverson fires away.
He is so tough. You force him to the edges, he'll knock down the jumper. You give him a half a step and he's into the paint.
Well, foul trouble or no foul trouble, he wants to stay on the floor. Second in the NBA in minutes per game, first in total minutes. Prince down there with some solid defense. Brown wanted a foul. Hooked away by Ben Wallace. 3-on-1. Prince. Lots of contact, they let it go.
Well, I think Korver was in the no charge zone. So while he had possession, he didn't get the call.
If anything, would have been a block because he was in that restricted area. 4-point lead for the Sixers. Very quick pace. Nice pass. Iguodala can't finish, but he got bumped. And a pretty pass from Webber.
That's Chris Webber's value to this team. He doesn't have a low post game anymore. In fact, never was really strong at the low post. Usually resorted to a turnaround jumper. But what he can do is pass the ball and make the perimeter jump shot. And that keeps the defense honest.
And here's Iguodala, the rookie from Arizona, the first-round pick for the 76ers after 2 years playing for the Wildcats. Came in and we talked to Jim O'Brien before the game this morning. And he said he knew right away from training camp that he had some special ability, especially on the defensive end.
Mike, I was at the Sixers training camp, and I watched this young guy, Andre Iguodala. You could not pass the ball by him. Look at the length of his arms. He has a great wingspan and great reaction time with the hands.
And almost every night plays the opponent's best perimeter threat. Good help defense that time. And the Sixer defense, very impressive to start. Iverson draws the foul on Billups. And able to get a shot attempt. So Chauncey Billups picks up his first. And Iverson will go to the line. A frequent place for him.
He's quick as a dart, getting into the defense, has change of pace dribbles, changed direction with the dribble, and very quick off the floor to shoot his jump shot.
There you see, he won his 4th straight scoring title. Pretty select company as he hits the first. And we remind your NBA calendar. Tomorrow, Game 1, New Jersey at Miami. Coverage begins at 3 on ABC. TNT tomorrow, triple header. Coverage begins at 5:30. And TNT on Monday, Indy at Boston, followed by Houston at Dallas. And as the playoffs underway, so many terrific first-round matchups.
Oh, this could be upset season. This This playoff series could be wild, all of them.
Sixers with a 7-point lead. We played just over 5 minutes. Single coverage, Weber on Rasheed Wallace. Oh, nice move. D'Alembert, though, with the help defense, and that's his second block. Iverson dribbled it off his foot, and then lost it out of bounds.
Iverson just lost control of the dribble, which is rare for him. But look at the hustle on this guy. He never gives up on a play.
Two places you see him frequently during the game, on the floor and at the free throw line. Now he's going to get a rest on the bench. Only reason, though, it's because it's a timeout. But 2 quick fouls for Allen Iverson, however. Very balanced scoring early, Jack.
Yeah, every one of the Sixers in the scoring column.
6.5 remaining in the first. Philly with a very quick start on the road.
The McDonald's Golden Moments. In the opening round of the 2003 playoffs, the Detroit Pistons became the first team since 1997 to overcome a 3-1 deficit when they defeated the Orlando Magic in Game 7. Detroit point guard Chauncey Billups stole the show with a 37-point performance. This has been the McDonald's Golden Moments.
Allen Iverson has played in 57 playoff games. This is 58th. The prior 57, his head coach was Larry Brown. Now Larry Brown at the other sideline, and he says the two have now become very real friends.
I care a lot about, the people and the things that he cares about, and vice versa. I think he's a great man. He's done a lot for this game, and he's done a lot for me as a player. I owe a lot to all the success that I had, or that I have, to Larry Brown. Without Larry Brown, I wouldn't be the player that I am today. I owe a lot to him, and I just wish him well. I honestly think he's the best coach to ever coach the basketball game, and I'm glad I had a chance to be under him and learn the things that I've learned to help me get to this point where I'm at right now.
Jack, they had an up-and-down relationship when they were player-coach, but you can see that he sincerely realizes what Larry Brown did for him as a player.
Indeed, and Larry Brown is a very demanding coach. And players frequently don't appreciate that until they have left that environment. But Larry Brown will teach the game, and if you're a willing listener and learner, you'll benefit from it.
Oh! Prince looking to post up Korver. Yeah. There's some help from Weber. Way off the mark.
Sixers defending very well at this point, and D'Alembert already with 5 rebounds and 2 blocks in this game.
Pistons just 3 of 11 from the field. Iguodala with 8 on the shot clock, looking for D'Alembert. Wallace right with him, then Ben Wallace with the block, and he'll have a jump ball with 5 on the shot clock.
Samuel D'Alembert is a pretty good rebounder, a pretty good defender, but he doesn't have much of an offensive game. And Ben Wallace, one of the best at snuffing shots in the basket area.
Wallace easily wins the tip. Here's Hamilton running the floor. Gets past, blocked by D'Alembert, but a goaltend as he got it after it touched the glass.
Indeed. Ball came off the board. You cannot touch the ball once it hits the board.
Well, D'Alembert very active, and they'll need that with this tremendous front line for the Pistons. Iguodala against Hamilton using the left hand. And Rasheed Wallace is off rebound.
Iguodala's missed 2 high percentage shots right at the rim.
They go right to Billups.
Need help.
Again with Iverson, the 2 fouls, makes the steal. Feed inside Iguodala. And Weber on the mark early. His second field goal.
Allen Iverson. I don't know that there's a player who plays passing lanes any better than Allen Iverson. He lures you into the pass and then goes and steals it.
Phillips tied up.
Good double team by Weber.
Hamilton broken up by Weber. Iverson going right at Phillips, coast to coast.
Oh my.
Beautiful play from Allen Iverson.
I don't know how he does it. He gets over, around, and in between players. It's amazing.
And a 9-point lead for the Sixers with 4.5 to play in the first. Iverson 8 points, 2 assists already. Rasheed Wallace not close, and Iguodala the rebound. Well, the Sixer defense, very impressive, Jack.
Very impressive, and they're getting offense from their defense.
Alley-oop. Iguodala goes down, and a reach-in foul call on Rasheed Wallace. He's explaining that Bernie Fryer was all ball. That's an Noah Bell. He picks up his first.
Iguodala might be having a few butterflies in his first playoff game, because he's usually very consistent around the rim.
And he's guarding Hamilton to start, and Hamilton just 2 of 5. And this is another free throw. Tune in directly after the game for the live post-game press conference, start to finish, only on NBA TV. Iguodala, just 21 years old, just in the NBA in steals.
Just learning the game.
Yeah, as Jim O'Brien told us this morning, we're just scratching the surface, especially offensively. A very smart pick at that number 9. Iverson with another steal. Trying to control it and gets it back. Iguodala for the finish. And Allen Iverson doing everything.
He's relentless. He is relentless, and once again sniffing through that passing lane and grabbing a ball and getting a score from it.
And this crowd is stunned right now, this 7-0 run. Larry Brown decides not to call a timeout. Phillips just kind of flipped it up. And the Sixers' aggressive defense continues. That's a 3 from Korver. And Prince throws it. Korver able to get it. Weber steps back. And the ball hit the shot clock, so it's going to be Detroit ball.
So what a start for the 76ers in this game. Look at Iverson with the balance and the sense of the game to get the ball to Iguodala. And that one is with authority, folks.
Trying to get a little fancy with the backward instead of taking the simple route. But it's still effective that time. Prince goes right at Korver. Hamilton, the floater, blocked by Dallenberg. That's his 3rd block of the first quarter. Of course, the Sixers finished the regular season playing some pretty good basketball as Weber gets it inside and he's fouled. That's on Rasheed Wallace. That will be his 2nd.
Screen and roll offense. Excellent pass by Iverson. And the Pistons have been caught on their heels.
They call the foul on Ben Wallace, so there's a break. That's his first, but they're down by a dozen.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by new Budweiser Select, brewed for a crisp taste that finishes clean. Be selective. GMC Trucks and SUVs, we are professional grade. And McDonald's.
The defending NBA champs down by 12 here in the first quarter. They're shooting just 27% from the field and turned it over 4 times. So Larry Brown called the timeout. Let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, Larry Brown just told his team this is totally out of character for us. This is not the way we play the game. You're turning the ball over and you're not getting back on defense. You're standing around. We have absolutely no movement. Nobody's aggressive. Nobody's making any passes. Guys, take a look at yourselves. What's the matter with you guys today? Mike?
All right, Jim, Weber will go to the free throw line. Of course, Weber coming over in that trade from Sacramento, and especially a player, Jack, who's had the ball in his hands so much in his career at Sacramento. That was a very tough adjustment to weave him into the offense and for Jim O'Brien to get him and Allen Iverson on the same page.
Yeah, and I think early on there was some thought that maybe Weber still had life as a low post player, and they tried him down there. That did not work. Jim set him at the high post to take advantage of his passing skills and his perimeter shooting, and that has worked well.
Right now, everything working well for Philly. The 9-0 run, and they lead by 14.
This is everything that Coach O'Brien hoped for in this game.
Hamilton fell. Iguodala going down the other end, and another turnover and another fast break basket. Now Hamilton complaining to Bernie Fryer. He felt he got tripped. It was an inadvertent trip, but obviously he stumbled.
Another fast break score, open court scoring for Philadelphia.
Sixers doing what they do best, forcing turnovers. Prince steps up. Tayshaun Prince with his second field goal.
But they're not getting high percentage shots. Larry Brown was right. They're not moving the ball enough. They are settling for quick shots. Got to do better.
Weber calling for it. Goes right at Ben Wallace. Wallace stays with him, but Weber now with his third field goal, he's got 6 points.
And that's Chris Webber's low post game. A little pump fake and a jump hook. That time, nothing but net.
And look at those shooting numbers, 69% to 31%. Rasheed Wallace, and a foul. A lot of arguing at both ends with the calls. As Weber trying to give Louis Griot his thoughts on that particular call as he picks up his first.
And previous possessions where Wallace had tried for the same kind of play, Weber had forced him out just far enough so that it was not within Sheed's shooting range, and has had success.
See Wallace's numbers in the regular season. His defense has been superb this year, and hits the first. It's a hot new special. ABC's Desperate Housewives, called Desperate Housewives Sorting Out the Dirty Laundry. Everyone up on the entire season will be caught up. We'll show you a side of Wisteria Lane like you've never seen before. It's on Sunday, 8 Central on ABC.
Wallace made the first. He's shooting the second, but he's 0 for 3 from the field.
14-point lead with just under a minute and a half. Wallace and Weber. Some comparisons made with those two in terms of Wallace coming over mid-season last year. Weber doing the same with Philly this year. Their numbers not as strong as they were with the previous team. As Iverson gets in, ball knocked out of his hands. Good defense from Hamilton. Shot clock down to 4. Ben Wallace with the block.
That's the first bad possession for the Sixers in this game.
Phillips. Iverson got a piece of it. That's why that was a legal play.
Good hands, Allen Iverson.
Already got 3 steals. Prince. Wallace on the foul.
Dallenberg came over to help out on the shot. That left the lane open for Big Ben, and he rang the bell.
12-point lead. The Sixers thought that may have been interference. The ball above the cylinder. Iverson creates some space and just runs off the rim.
So far, Hamilton doing a good job on Iverson, forcing him left.
Hamilton and Phillips, such a terrific backcourt at both ends of the floor. There's about a second difference between shot and game clock. Phillips makes his move on Iverson. Pretty crossover move. Dallenberg, his 8th rebound, and there's the buzzer, ending a spectacular first quarter for the Philadelphia 76ers. Here's that one play before. Did Ben Wallace interfere? Was it above the cylinder?
It is.
Yep.
It is.
That should have been negated. But everything went Philly's way as the Sixers scored 28 points, shoot over 60% from the field, and play some terrific defense. The road teams got the lead after the first quarter of Game 1. Sixers erupt in the first quarter of Game 1, and much to do with their defense, Dr. Jack.
The defense for the Sixers has been superb. They're getting into the passing lane. They're deflecting balls, and that's transferred into fast break scores. Look at Allen Iverson. Great play by AI. Two-hand stuffer by Iguodala.
And there you see, number 1 in the NBA in those 2 categories, and on a terrific pace so far. Iverson has 3 of those 5 steals. Remember, he picked up 2 quick fouls early. Jim O'Brien let him stay in. And Iverson 8 points, 3 assists, and the 3 steals.
The Sixers already with 5 shot blocks.
Carlos Arroyo coming in along with Antonio McDyess. The bench would be key for the Pistons. Last year it was in their championship. It's not as deep this year. As Prince. Nice little play from Tayshaun Prince.
Against very good defense by Aaron McKee and the defensive helper as well.
Jim O'Brien goes to his bench with McKee and Mark Jackson, the Philly native. And bad pass. Iguodala threw to Prince, and Prince tripped up from behind. And a foul. Is it going to be a clear path foul? Let's see if they call it. If it's a clear path, it's going to be one shot in the ball.
I think there was an offensive player ahead of him.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's see.
Well, we can't tell. Iverson looked like he was ahead. Oh, they are calling it a clear path. Let's see.
Well, it has to be. That's the right call.
Yeah,
it was a clear pass. It has to be an offensive player ahead of the player with the ball for it to be a clear path to the basket.
If there's one in front of that offensive player, and it's not, the play has to start in the back court for that to be a clear path. Prince misses the one shot, and then they take the ball out of bounds. So a foul on Iguodala, his first. Arroyo obtained from Utah. His pass deflected by Mark Jackson, and another steal. Iverson explodes, draws the foul, and they say before the shot. So the Sixers will take it out of bounds.
Foul number 30, Carlos.
Allen Iverson, unbelievable in sniffing out the opponent's offense and getting in the passing lane and creating running opportunities for his team.
Iverson will be 30 come June, and still playing an incredible amount of minutes at this unbelievable pace. Knocks down another shot. What a start for Allen Iverson, and a lead back up to 12.
And Larry Brown said it, when he is knocking down his perimeter jump shot, he's almost impossible to defend. And he's doing that today.
Hamilton,
Great help.
Iguodala with another deflection.
Sixers playing at a tremendous defensive level and great intensity in this game.
Contesting every pass as Mark Jackson too strong. And Dallenberg called for the loose ball foul. That'll be his first. You know, when you talk about Iverson, last year he missed 34 games because of injury, and the Sixers did not make the playoffs. So he was pretty disappointed with what happened last year. This year he missed 7 games. The team was 2-5 in those 7. And you knew he wanted a taste for the postseason again, and he has come out with a vengeance so far.
Jim O'Brien has been high in his praise of Iverson.
Pretty turnaround shot from Antonio McDyess.
Now they needed a lift from McDyess to get themselves back in this game. They need to take care of the ball better and then exercise their skills in half-court offense.
Iverson flips it into Dallenberg. Dallenberg, 4 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 block shots in his first playoff game already.
This is a huge benefit for the Sixers, obviously, but Iverson is the guy who keys all of this.
McDyess left open again. 2 for 2 off the bench for the former All-Star, who has not played in a playoff game since '98 when he was with Phoenix. He's only played in 4 playoff games in his career. Obviously injured so much in recent seasons. Iverson steps back. Good transition defense from Philly. Rip Hamilton. Dallenberg, another rebound, his 9th.
Iverson kept that ball alive, and Dallenberg grabbed it.
Oh, beautiful pass, and Dallenberg with the finish.
Allen Iverson, under heavy pressure with a double team, going to his left, put a great pass up there for Dallenberg.
And the Sixers just attacking at both ends of the floor. Iverson trying to fight over a screen. Arroyo. They'll give that shot up to Ben Wallace, as long as he didn't want to take it. Arroyo alley up the other end. And a foul, and that's Dallenberg's second foul. And Iverson shaken up. I believe I'm going through a screen, but he's in some pain.
He's in pain, but it won't stop him. Let's watch what happened on that. He took a shot, but he takes a lot during the game. Iverson, that pass to Samuel Dallenberg, who throws it down. Great look, Allen Iverson. Great finish, Sam Dallenberg.
Rick Tirico here in New York, our Taco Bell studio update to set the rest of the NBA playoff day one. Dirk Nowitzki, who had 53 earlier this year on Houston, will go up against Yao Ming, Tracy McGrady, and the Rockets. The I-45 battle. Indiana and Boston look for Tony Allen, Ricky Davis, and Gary Payton to all defend Reggie Miller as Reggie starts his final playoff run. And in the third game, all coming up on ESPN starting at 5:30 Eastern, Peja Stojakovic will dress Brad Miller suiting up. Could play a little bit. He's been out for a while as Sacramento takes on Seattle. Back to the Palace of Auburn Hills and Mike Breen.
Michael, thank you. Allen Iverson will come back out on the floor after that timeout. This is where he got hurt.
Ben Wallace coming right into Iverson. Watch it happen. AI tries to get over the screen. Big Ben, 6'9", 240, drills him.
Right now, let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. I'm with Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian athlete from the Athens Games in 2004. Michael, great to see you. You know what it's like to have everybody shooting at you every race. What's it like for the Pistons, do you think, to try and defend?
It's going to be tough, you know. I mean, I think they have a good team. They have everybody back, and I think it's going to be easier than people think. I mean, I can definitely see them going to at least the conference finals, hopefully playing the Heat, and see what happens after that.
Michael, you won those 8 medals, 6 gold. What would be your goal now?
Right now, I'm getting ready for World Championships, and then the next big step is the 2008 in Beijing.
2008, you're definitely going to swim there then.
I hope to be there.
What about basketball? How much do you follow this, and who's your favorite player and team?
I've actually started following it more and more since I moved up here to Michigan. I'm a Shaq fan. I like Shaq. He's a mean player. He's a good guy. Seems like a good guy, and he's just fun to watch.
Michael, good to see you. Good thing nobody here in this arena could hear that.
I know.
Congratulations on everything. We look forward to seeing you down the road.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mike.
Jim, thank you. Dallenberg's follow won't go. Prince comes out of the pack. Arroyo and Rip Hamilton. Prince right there on the follow.
Carlos Arroyo has gotten his team moving. And the Detroit Pistons are getting it together. Arroyo's getting them good shots and knocking them down.
And the Pistons, after trailing by 16, have now made it a 6-point game. Jim O'Brien wants timeout. First standing ovation of the afternoon here at the Palace.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's moving forward. And Goodyear Assurance, featuring triple tread technology.
Back at the Palace with the Pistons now within 6. It's been a long year for Larry Brown since the championship. Of course, the Olympic disappointment, the injuries this year, the brawl, the speculation. They may leave Detroit. And once again, Larry Brown answered questions about the speculation.
This is the last coaching job I'm going to have, unless it's coaching high school or some, silly college team that doesn't really emphasize basketball. But this is it for me, and I hope I can do it for a while.
The injuries taking its toll. Again, missing the 17 games this year. Iverson shot blocked by Arroyo. He wanted a foul. But it's been a long year after that championship last season.
Oh, it has indeed. And I think you're right, Mike. The physical problems that Larry has had may have influenced him in his decision.
Arroyo. McDyess on the follow. Antonio McDyess, a huge spark off the bench. He's 4 for 4.
4 for 4 in about 5 minutes.
Weber left wide open. And those were the shots they were hitting early. Speaking of the Olympics, Arroyo and Iverson, of course, went at each other in Athens. Arroyo for Puerto Rico, and that upset. Wallace, tough catch inside, and he gets hacked by Jackson, so he'll go to the free throw line.
Let's take a look. Antonio McDyess. Good dish. Good shot, rather. But strong finish by McDyess. 4 out of 4, as you said, Mike. He's only played about 5 minutes in this game.
Meanwhile, Ben Wallace, who struggled at the free throw line, to say the least, this season, 43%. He's never been a good free throw shooter, but really had his problems that time. Not a bad free throw. Tomorrow on ABC, the NBA playoffs continue. Shaq and Dwayne Wade and the Heat going up against Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, and the New Jersey Nets. That series begins tomorrow at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on ABC. Question whether or not Shaquille O'Neal will play tomorrow, as the Pistons have clawed their way back into this one. Korver the rebound.
Jim O'Brien bringing his starting lineup back on the floor now. That lead all but disappearing.
Now remember, Iverson picked up 2 fouls, 2.5 minutes into the game, but he stayed on the whole time. Iguodala had it, lost it, kicked it. Wallace can't come up with it, and here's Iverson. Shot clock winding down, and he gets fouled with 2 left on the 24. Pistons not in the penalty yet, so the Sixers will take it out of bounds.
Some shaky ball handling by Philadelphia. But the ball gets in Allen Iverson's hands, and he gets it all the way to the rim and draws the foul.
They are going to call it a shooting foul. My mistake. As McDyess picks up the foul.
Look at this drive to the basket. The bump was against McDyess. Good call by the officials.
He made more free throws than anyone in the NBA this year as Billups comes back in.
And 83.5% over the season from the line is Allen Iverson.
Career high in assists as well, and that's an area that often goes unlooked for him, but he averaged almost 8 assists per game, which was his best mark.
It is. High number of turnovers, but the overall result is very, very positive.
Yeah, the turnovers #1 in the NBA as well, averaged nearly 5 a game. Billups. Rasheed Wallace, good turnaround. McDyess battling, and last touch by the Sixers.
Detroit has hurt the Sixers in this surge at the offensive glass.
Tell you what, this is a tough game to officiate, Jack. It is a physical game. Every pass, every shot contested.
We have two teams that are defending very well.
Prince with the offensive rebound. McDyess left wide open and misses. Wallace nearly tipped it in, and a loose ball foul on Iguodala. That's going to be his second, and the Sixers in the penalty.
The second penalty situation.
So Rasheed Wallace will go to the free throw line. First Rasheed Wallace from Philadelphia to Simon Gratz High School in Philly. Said he will not turn on his cell phone when he goes to game 3 and 4 because he knows the ticket requests are going to be out of hand.
Detroit now with Ben Wallace on the bench presents a much stronger, high-scoring, potentially front line with Wallace, McDyess, and Prince. Sixers were dropping off Wallace and playing a one-man zone. And that player has helped out a lot at the defensive end. Now they have to play each other straight up.
4-point game midway through the second with Dr. Jack Ramsey and Jim Gray. Mike Breen on hand at the Palace as Weber off the mark that time.
Too quick a shot by Chris Wallace.
Hamilton, Iguodala fights through the screen. Tough screen set that time by Rasheed Wallace. Shot clock at 6. Billups can't hit. And another offensive rebound. Rasheed Wallace, an easy 2 inside.
Rasheed all by himself for a moment there. Finally got the ball, had no defender.
So now it's a 2-point game after the Sixers led by as many as 16. Phillies missed their last 6 shots from the field. Make it 7 as Rasheed Wallace with his 5th rebound. Prince for 3.
Bang.
Their first lead of the game.
Sixers are not getting into the open court. They are forced to play a half-court offensive game, and Detroit is taking it away from them.
After leading by 16 points, the Sixers now trailing by 1. And the Pistons defense really picking it up. Weber, good drive and using the left hand.
Nice finish by Chris Wallace. Kind of probed the defense. Nobody stopped him, so he went all the way and finished.
So Weber helping out with 10 points. Prince will try another three. And a loose ball foul will go against D'Alembert. And that will be D'Alembert's third foul. D'Alembert has played superbly. 6 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. But he's going to sit most likely for the rest of the half.
Going to the line to shoot 2 for Detroit.
He can give them that production, though. 10 rebounds. But McDyess has been the guy for the Pistons to get them back in the game. He's gotten open shots. Great pass by Arroyo on that one. And he's been strong at the glass as well.
McDyess missing the first free throw. For McDyess, the #1 statistic is 77 games played after all he's been through. Making the decision here to come to Detroit. Said so many times through those 3 knee surgeries he had, he thought about quitting. Said they were nice when he cried. But this has been a perfect opportunity for him. Doesn't have to play huge minutes, but he is their 6th man. And what a performance he's had so far this afternoon. Iverson draws the foul. Lindsey Hunter looking at Jack Nice with wide eyes as the veteran Hunter picks up his first.
Lindsey Hunter is a good defender. Coach Larry Brown rates him the best guard defender in basketball. I would not go that far, but he's pretty good, but not quick enough to stay with Allen Iverson.
Iverson knocks down the first. Reminder, tonight, Grey's Anatomy is all new. Chicago Sun-Times says it's got heart and brains. It's on Sunday at 10, 9 Central only on ABC.
That has nothing to do with Jim's physique, does it?
Thank goodness it doesn't. We'll have to put a few disclaimers. Sorry, Jim. Meanwhile, McDyess gets a standing ovation from a lot of the fans behind the Piston bench. Phillips has been quiet offensively, just 1 of 6, and an offensive foul. Rasheed Wallace arguing with Jack Nice. For Rasheed Wallace, that's his second. Moving screen. Jack Nice is not a guy to spend a lot of time arguing. The oldest ref in the NBA at 67 years old. Talk about guys who are in incredible shape.
He's in great shape, yeah. And stays on top of the game. I think he's still a very good official.
In his 27th year in the league. Weber. Chris Weber having a strong game. 12 points on 5 of 10 from the field.
Nice screen set by Kyle Korver that time to give Weber the shooting space that he needed.
And the Pistons will call time.
Larry Brown doesn't like the defense on that play. Defenders on screeners have to step up and show themselves to prevent those open jump shots.
Allen Iverson and Chris Weber getting along nicely here in the first half as the Sixers have the lead in game 1.
On the clock at Auburn Hills with Bill Walton, Snapper Jones, and our special guest from the Toronto Raptors, Jalen Rose. What have you seen so far?
Tempo in the first half. Detroit in the half court, Philadelphia when it's full court.
You know, this game is being driven by Allen Iverson, and as long as he can get in the seams and make things happen, Philly's got a chance for an upset today.
Philadelphia has come with an attitude. Detroit is reading their press clippings, and the much maligned Detroit bench is shining very brightly right now.
Our game tomorrow is Miami, New Jersey. A little question about Shaq's thigh bruise. He'll talk to Michelle Tafoya coming up at halftime. Mike, we'll see you then.
Thanks, Mike. Back here at the Palace. Another sellout crowd for the 3rd straight year. They've led the NBA in home attendance. And yes, the brawl was an ugly incident, but these are great fans they have here at the Palace and still remain to be as they filled it up once again as we send it over to Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, you've been talking a lot about Antonio McDyess. He has 9 points here in the first half. He was a free agent during the summer. He had his choice to go anywhere he wanted. He came and saw Joe Dumars, the president here, and Larry Brown. And he asked them, would I get a chance to play here? And he trusted them both. And the reason that he trusted them both when they told him he'd play a lot, because he'd been with Larry Brown at the Sydney Olympics when Larry was an assistant coach and McDyess was playing. They won the gold medal. After they won the gold medal and were awarded it, McDyess came over, went into the locker room and gave it to Larry Brown, put it around his neck. Brown would not accept the gold medal, gave it back to him. But Larry Brown has said that that was the most special moment in his coaching career, and that's why McDyess is here.
Thank you, Jim, as Hunter puts it in. In Olympic play, coaches do not get medals. That's why Larry Brown was without one at the time. As Korver launches a quick one, Prince the rebound.
Long drive to the hoop by Lindsey Hunter.
He's the oldest guy out there, but he doesn't look it. He's always been in great shape. As Wallace can't hit. 9th offensive rebound for the Pistons here in the first half. And we're under the 3-minute mark. Offensive foul. Hunter pushing off on Iverson to get free.
Iverson, make sure the officials know when he gets hit.
Nobody gets knocked to the ground more than he does. Sometimes, though, he doesn't. He puts a little extra oomph in those kind of plays.
Number 10, Lindsey Hunter.
Lindsey Hunter just kind of a touch foul there by Lindsey Hunter, but Allen made sure that he got the full benefit from the hit. Sixers need to get into the open court. They had 14 fast break points in the first, and none since then.
McDyess, terrific steal. Iverson nearly comes back with it, but Prince takes it back again. Prince alley-oop for Wallace. Pass was low. Ben Wallace with the steal. Phillips for 3. And a loose ball foul is going to go against Philly. It is starting to get very physical as Kyle Korver picks up his first foul.
Kyle Korver is 6'8", a long, lean body. Ben Wallace is 6'9", and a stud. 240 pounds all muscle. Pretty hard for Korver to keep him off the glass.
Ben Wallace 3 of 4 from the line. Misses badly. You know, Larry Brown, when he was out, as we said, 17 games with the problems from the hip surgery, he noticed that teams weren't completely ignoring at times Wallace on the offensive end, and he wanted Wallace to look for his offense more. And down the second half of the season, Wallace was more of a scoring factor.
Yes, if he gets the ball in the basket area, he can finish. He's also become a pretty good passer from the high post position.
1-point lead for the Sixers as we hit the 2-minute mark of the first half. Weber got away with that one. Iverson, a 3. Not a good shot that time, and Prince the rebound.
Detroit's picking up the intensity of its defense.
McDyess puts it in. Antonio McDyess, 5 for 6 from the field.
What a spark he's been off the bench. They're getting penetrations. McDyess is flaring to the open areas and knocking down shots.
Reaching foul call on Chauncey Billups. 14 foul against the Pistons. And Billups second.
First in the last 2 minutes, 76 of basketball.
And how about this number? The Piston bench has outscored the Philly bench 13-0 here in the first half, Jack.
Well, the Philly bench didn't get many minutes on the floor because that's when that sizable lead diminished rapidly.
The only 2 players, Jackson and McKee, are the only 2 that have come on the floor. Whereas Larry Brown's gone 8 deep. Quick feet inside, and Iverson can't connect. Arroyo back in. They don't want Billups to pick up his 3rd foul. Dice wants him. He's had the stroke.
Well, Weber came up to show on the screen. Nobody covered for him. The Sixers turned it over.
Another steal as the Pistons coming alive. Hamilton for 3. And the lead is 6 for Detroit.
What a turnaround.
10 straight points by the defending champs. Iverson, tough shot. Hamilton, alley-oop. Too far.
I don't know who could catch that pass. Rick Hamilton put it out of sight.
Weber holds on to it. Nice feed inside to Jackson, and Mark Jackson is fouled.
Great pass, Chris Weber. Put it on the floor, draw the defender, bounce it. Mark Jackson gets the foul line.
Weber and Iverson having a chat. Willie Green is going to come in. And Iverson will sit. Iverson has played the entire first half up until now. And remember, he picked up his second foul 2 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. Most coaches would put their star player down with a 2. Jim O'Brien kept him in, and Iverson was able to avoid that third foul.
I agree with Coach O'Brien's philosophy there. I don't know why coaches take players out of the game automatically with the second foul call against them in the early going. One coach the player right out of the rhythm of his game.
We've talked about this. Jeff Van Gundy, he said he's going to use that with Yao Ming because too many times he just pulled him out and he was never really effective for the rest of the game.
And Yao has played much better as a result of it. Smart players will know how to play with fouls.
Iverson certainly did in that first half. And you'd be hard on Coach O'Brien because father-in-laws are supposed to be hard on son-in-laws.
I couldn't have a better son-in-law than Jim O'Brien.
Jim O'Brien, of course, in his first year head coach of the Sixers, 4 years head coach with the Celtics, with an assistant with the Celtics and the Knicks. Living a dream, a Philadelphia native, went to Roman Catholic High School in Philly, St. Joe's University, and is in the Big 5 Hall of Fame. Now he gets to coach his hometown Sixers. Prince for 3. In and out. And Weber the rebound.
He'll hold for 1 now. Willie Green probably get a little screen and try and beat Arroyo. No screen. Going to beat him off the dribble.
There's about a 4.5-second difference between shot and game clock. Green makes his move. And a reaching foul, and Arroyo hit him on the arm.
Excellent play. John Salmons was stationed in the right corner. If the defense collapsed enough, Green would have had a good open pass to Salmons. But I sense Willie wanted to get the shot himself.
Willie Green, a Detroit native. Some family and friends. No doubt here as he hits the free throw. He gets his time when Allen Iverson is out. And we'll have a timeout. The Pistons will call time with 7.7 seconds remaining. We'll take a quick break as we wind down the first half of Game 1 of the Palace. Points in the first quarter. Well, it have come back beautifully in the second period, Jack.
Well, Philly came out with a lot of energy. Great display of team defense. Weak side help. And the zone defender off Ben Wallace allowed them to have great help in the lane. And they got into the open court. They got everything they needed.
Final seconds. Prince trying to find some room. They got to get it up quick today. And that one off the mark to end the second period. The Pistons scored 16 points in the first quarter, but 32 in the second. As Allen Iverson and his team saw a 16-point lead disappear.
But they'll get back into it, Mike. Trailing by only 3 at halftime.
Now a 2-point game.
A 2-point game at halftime.
As we send it over to Jim Gray.
All right, with Antonio McDyess. Antonio, you had 13 points here in the first half, 6 of 7. You guys were down 16 points. What turned the tide?
Actually, I know we need to come off the bench with energy. I think me and my teammates, we did a great job by doing that. Just getting a spark when we came off the bench and rebound and shot the ball well.
With everything that you have been through, all of these surgeries, what does this mean to you to have this kind of game so far?
It's a blessing. It's definitely a blessing coming off of 3 knee injuries in 18 months and having an opportunity to play for the world champions is definitely a blessing.
You guys now have the lead here as you go in at the halftime. Do you feel as though you've taken Philadelphia's best punch?
Yes, I think we have. I think now we just got to settle down, come back out and play like we play Piston basketball in the second half.
Antonio, congratulations. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mike.
It certainly was Piston basketball in that second quarter. Coming up at the half, the Verizon Wireless halftime show. Shaquille O'Neal speaking with Michelle Tafoya, plus first half analysis from the guys. Mike Tirico, Bill Walton, Snapper Jones, and Jalen Rose back in the studio for the Verizon Wireless halftime show. Halftime game 1 of this best of series 7 series opening round playoffs. It's the defending champs by 2. Seven opening playoff series. The defending champs had some problems early, but as we get set for the third quarter, they lead by 2. Hi again, everyone, with Dr. Jack Ramsey, Mike Breen on hand. Pistons down by 16 in that first half, Jack. What do they do differently to get back into the game and take the lead?
Well, they've kept Philadelphia out of the open court. Philadelphia had 14 fast break points in the first period, none in the second. So that was a big factor. They've also gotten to the offensive glass themselves. And look at the difference in rebounding. The Pistons now 26-18. They were trailing in rebounds 12-3 at one point. And they're getting to the offensive glass. They have 9 offensive rebounds. So they have taken control of this game.
Our Nokia first half stats. As we get set for the third quarter, we go to Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, I spoke to Lester Connor, the assistant coach for the 76ers. He said the big difference in the second quarter was in the first quarter, we just gave them 1 second shot. In the second quarter, 8 second shots for 11 points, and we didn't challenge defensively. As for Larry Brown, I spoke to him. What was the difference? I asked him between the quarters. He said we decided in the second quarter to pass the ball to each other instead of the other guys. Mike?
Turnovers certainly hurt early, and the rebounding. The Pistons have the best rebounding margin in the NBA. You know they're going to battle on the board, so you need help from your guards when you play the Pistons.
Well, and the big guys. You can't let big guys get to the offensive glass without putting a body on it. Sometimes it requires a guard, Korver, Iguodala, even Iverson, to block out a big guy, but it must be done. And frequently, big guys will push off the little guy to try and get better position. But that has to be attended to. And again, generate a quick tempo so you can get into the open court. That means Allen Iverson on the drive.
It's only the second time these two teams have met in the playoffs. 2003 Eastern Conference semis. Detroit won that 4-2 when Larry Brown was the coach of Philly. As House a little fake. I think that was a pass, and Rasheed Wallace on the tip.
2 tips. One to keep it alive and the other to knock it home. So ring up 2 more offensive rebounds for the Pistons. That's 11 for the game.
There's Korver. Iverson, that's a 3. And Allen Iverson knocks down the first 3-pointer of the game for Philadelphia.
And they need 3-point shots. They only took 1 in the entire first half. When they make 8 or more 3-point shots, their record is 8-1.
Wallace comes and hits a 3 down the other end to come right back. So Rasheed Wallace with 5 quick points here to start this third quarter.
Sixers walking the ball up the floor now. That plays into the Pistons' hands.
Iverson played all but about a half minute of that first half. As we said, picked up those 2 quick fouls, but Jim O'Brien stayed with him. And a foul. It's going to go against Rasheed Wallace. That's his third.
Rasheed doesn't like the call.
You can pretty much say that about almost every call against him, Jack.
I know, but he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to get called for a technical foul. Got to let it go and play the game.
It's always been one area that he's had his problems with. Weber hit that one, and Rasheed Wallace the rebound. One area he hasn't had problems with is rebounding and defense. There's so much talk about Ben Wallace, one of the premier defenders. Rasheed Wallace is one of the best front court defenders in the league.
Oh, he's excellent. He can defend post guys as well as guys who drive it to the basket.
And he's got 7 points in less than 2 minutes here to start the third.
That's a good first step by Rasheed. Got him past D'Alembert, took it to the other side of the rim to prevent the shot clock.
Rasheed Wallace is on D'Alembert. Off the dribble, D'Alembert. Not the kind of shot he normally takes. It's Ben Wallace the rebound.
It's not a good finish.
Hamilton. Nice feed. And here's another goaltend on D'Alembert. Boy, Rasheed Wallace has exploded out here in the third quarter. Already 9 points in the period.
Pistons getting into their offense much better. Getting penetrations, dish-offs, clear goaltend by D'Alembert.
Korver trying to get free. Phillips fighting over screens. Korver with just 1 field goal. Weber. There's the help defense again from Detroit.
Let's see on that play. Weber has no explosion to the basket once he puts it on the floor.
He has had to adjust his game with the knee injury. Tried an alley-oop, but threw it too hard. Prince. They want to get it to Wallace. He's got Korver on him, and here comes a double-triple team. And there's what you talked about earlier, Dr. Jack. Wallace's ability to pass the ball.
Yeah, that's a good pass by Ben Wallace, but he should not have been double-teamed. He's not a threat at the low post, so don't send a second defender at him.
He was even triple-teamed, but it's Rasheed Wallace, 9 points already here in the third quarter. Pistons have outscored the Sixers 11-3 to start the second half.
The NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by Hummer. Check out the new H3. Hummer, like nothing else. Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And the new KFC Snacker. Now your money goes further at KFC.
Back in Auburn Hills, Philly down by 10. You want to have swarming defense, but not this kind of swarming, Dr. Jack.
Now, here's Ben Wallace at the low post, and there's 1, 2, 3 defenders around Big Ben. He's not the kind of guy to draw that kind of defensive attention. That left Rip Hamilton all alone on the right corner.
And as you said earlier, one of the things Wallace has improved on is his passing. And that time with a nice assist. His second assist of the afternoon. Iverson for three. That's his second three-pointer here in the third quarter.
They're the only scores that the Sixers have. They've got to get better ball movement. That's not going to get it done for Allen Iverson just to fire up three-pointers, even though he made a couple.
Iverson has 20 now. Wallace given. Dallenberg gives him some room, and Rasheed Wallace puts it in. He only shot 32% from downtown during the regular season. Likes to take a lot of threes.
And he can make it, as we have seen right here.
So both times Iverson's hit a three, Rasheed Wallace has come right back. And Weber comes and hits a three. Only 6'10" guys shoot threes, Jack.
Yeah, the Sixers have made three. That's good for them, but I don't think they're going to win the game playing that way. They've got to get back into the open court like they did earlier.
And that was when they forced all the turnovers. And you got the fast break points. You don't want to go against that half-court defense of the Pistons all game long. Iverson. And Dallenberg fighting for it. Rebound from Dallenberg is 11th. Iverson. Weber wide open. Credit Dallenberg for keeping that alive.
Well, that's better. Even though it's a perimeter shot, it started with Allen Iverson's penetration into the paint. That got Weber open.
Iverson took his eye off Billups, and Billups goes right to the basket. Billups now 1 of 8 from the field. And Iverson off the end. Almost a great block. Prince says, wait a minute. Prince keeps saying, no, I hit it before it hit the backboard. Boy, that was close.
I agree with him. I think he got the ball before it hit the backboard. Let's take a second look. Yes, he did. He hit it off the glass. But the ball was still on its way up also.
But if it hits the backboard first, then it's a goaltend. Billups comes right back, draws the foul and one. Well, you got to go in slow motion just to see who touched it. That's a tough call.
Yes, it is. Another look. Tayshaun Prince.
Well, I don't know.
At the line to shoot one for Detroit. Number one,
I'd call it a good block.
I think he got it just before.
But we've looked at it 3 times, Mike. You know, the official only gets one chance.
No thank you with that whistle. We got 3 guys, 69 years of NBA experience, a very veteran crew. But even after all the years, that is still a tough call.
The Sixers within 6.
That last foul on Weber was his second.
Good defense, Hamilton.
Korver trying to get untracked. He didn't even hardly caught the ball before he launched it.
Pistons have done a great job keeping tight on Korver.
Phillips short. Ben Wallace.
Oh, that's a great rebound.
And Iguodala with the foul. That'll be his third. And Ben Wallace back to the free throw line.
This is a terrific rebound by Ben Wallace. He's relentless at going after the rebound, going after blocked shots. That's what makes him such a valuable player for the Pistons.
Second in the NBA in rebounding this year behind Kevin Garnett. Fifth in blocks. And this year, to show his versatility, became the fifth player in NBA history to have 100 blocks and 100 steals in 5 consecutive seasons. Pretty good company.
Yeah.
Hakeem Olajuwon, Dr. J, David Robinson, and Sam Lacey. Let's go to Jim Gray.
Mike, just before that last time out, Allen Iverson came over and put an ice pack to the side of his head. He has a huge welt just above and on his headband on his left-hand side. They put some ice on it. Obviously, he's continuing into the game, but this guy is really getting beaten up. Mike.
All right, Jim, ice packs are part of his clothing, for crying out loud. Hamilton. Oh, D'Alembert! But he pinned it against the backboard. D'Alembert has 3 goaltends.
Great slashing drive by Rip Hamilton. So it's Hamilton.
Yep, that one a good call. 9-point lead. We're midway through the third. You're just joining us. The Sixers led by 16 in the first quarter, but it's been all Pistons since. Weber. That's a 2-pointer. And I don't know if that hit the clock. You can hit the top of the backboard. That's in bounds. But if it hits the shot clock, then it's no good. That was very close as well.
I'm sure they'll get a better look at it. The Pistons bench got a good look at it, and they were all up.
Prince trying to post up Korver. There's that spin move, flicks it in. Oh, beautiful move.
He got doubled early, waited for the double to dissipate itself, and then took it to the rim and finished.
Prince has 13. And Iverson stepped out of bounds. Got careless. Let's take a look at that shot. Did it hit the shot clock?
Did it come up and hit the clock? It appeared to.
It can't tell. Now, it may have grazed the top of the backboard, which is in play. Difficult to tell on that particular replay. But they counted the 2-pointer. Right now, Detroit by 9. And Hamilton took his eye off it, but credit Iguodala's pressure defense.
Iguodala is another guy. He will not let you alone.
Just under 5 minutes remaining. We're in the third quarter.
Sixers need to get into the basket area, whether through penetrations or cuts. They've got to get somebody in there.
Iguodala. Blocked by Wallace.
Great block.
Iguodala wanted a foul. As Prince, offensive foul. Excellent defense from Kyle Korver down the other end.
Korver does not have great foot speed, but he has great smarts, and he anticipates well and got good position to draw that charge.
Returning to the Philadelphia lineup, number 25.
Let's look now again. Does this hit the shot clock?
Jackson, Philadelphia basketball.
It looked like it changed direction after hitting the shot clock, a slight graze.
But once again, we're getting several looks at it, and the officials have to make that decision on the spur of the moment.
Iverson. Jackson couldn't handle a pass, and it's still Philly ball with 7 on the shot clock.
Iverson is forcing offense right now, and Rip Hamilton has done a terrific job on Allen Iverson. Hamilton is longer, he has a good span, he's 6'7", and he's anticipating Iverson's moves very well.
Sixers need somebody else to step up and help out on the offensive end, do some scoring.
So far, it hasn't been Mark Jackson. In fact, there's no bench player with a field goal to fill it up.
Oh, Rasheed Wallace comes flying in. And the lead is ballooned to 11. Largest lead of the game for the Pistons.
Rasheed has been the major part of that. I'll tell you, Hamilton doing a terrific job on Iverson.
Weber kicks it out. Iguodala spots up for 3. And Ben Wallace tips it right to the rookie. Left hand, Iguodala in and out. And Ben Wallace all over the floor. Larry Brown wants timeout.
Chauncey Billups didn't want the timeout.
Their defense has spurred their offense as Detroit 10 of 15 from the field here in the third quarter. Unselfish play, Jack.
The Pistons are doing a great job moving the ball and finding the open man that was missing early in the game. You see him tipping the ball, knocking it up once and then tipping it home, knocking down a three-pointer there. Strong drive to the basket with the reverse finish. And a good reception of excellent pass work. Rasheed Wallace with the two-hand stuffer.
14 of his 19 here in the third quarter. Now he makes nice with Jack Neese. But that doesn't even take into account the kind of defense. But look at the shooting since that first quarter.
Well, also look at the rebounding, Mike. Wallace, Rasheed has 8 rebounds. Early on, the Sixers had a 12-3 rebounding lead. Since then, Detroit 33-10 off the glass.
Wallace looking backdoor. Hamilton.
Excellent play. Rasheed's doing it all. He's scoring it, he's rebounding it, he's assisting, and the Pistons are picking the Sixers apart with their team offense.
Now a 13-point advantage. Rodney Rogers has come in for Philly, perhaps to give some scoring punch. Iverson. Iguodala gets inside. Nice adjustment.
Excellent finish. Nice pass and penetration by Iverson. But they've gotten precious little of that so far in the second half. It's been mostly perimeter for the Sixers.
Iguodala with 10 points. Prince on the drive. Hard foul. Mark Jackson.
Tayshaun Prince was licking his chops when he saw Rodney Rogers defending him at the perimeter. This is the problem that Jim O'Brien has, how to match up. Get Rogers in the game because he gives him an offensive lift and some rebounding, but it's hard to find a player that he can match up with.
While they call a foul on Rogers, as Prince will go to the line. You know, Dr. Jack, we were here last week as we quickly tell you about the NBA calendar. ABC tomorrow, Game 1, Nets in the Heat. Coverage begins at 3 o'clock on ABC. TNT tomorrow, a triple-header. Coverage begins at 5:30. And TNT Monday, Indiana, Boston, followed by Houston and Dallas. Coverage beginning at 7. A number of the Pistons, when we asked them who's the MVP of the team this year, said Tayshaun Prince.
Oh, I love Tayshaun Prince. He got my vote for Defensive Player of the Year.
Rodney Rogers, in and out, back around.
He missed the shot clock on that. Would have helped him home.
They've used it to their advantage earlier. 13-point lead for Detroit as we're coming up on 2 minutes remaining here in the third. Prince and D'Alembert with his 13th rebound. This is an experience for the Sixers. Again, 3 of their starters playing in their first ever playoff game. Nice give and go. Blocked by Ben Wallace. D'Alembert on the follow and gets the roll. Wallace with his 4th block shot. Well, if you guard Richard Hamilton, you better be prepared to run through a lot of screens.
He's consummate. He reminds me a lot of Reggie Miller with his movement without the ball.
He's a mid-range Reggie Miller. Rasheed Wallace again. Wallace, 16 points here in the third quarter.
Shooting that jump shot with great confidence. What a nice rotation on the ball he had with that one.
Iverson, feed inside. Jackson gathers. Block. Knocked out of bounds. Still Philly ball. Boy, how'd you like to shoot it? Something underneath with Rasheed and Ben Wallace hanging all over.
Mark Jackson doesn't have a lot of lift either. So he's got a big body. He's got to wedge those shoulders in between the defenders to get a shot up.
Those two love to play defense. D'Alembert. And the second effort. Samuel D'Alembert.
That's good pursuit by Samuel. Sixers trying to hang in this game. Jim O'Brien would like to have his team have a shot down the stretch. They're very good in close games. Games under 3 points or less have the best record in the league.
11-4, and Rasheed Wallace misses that one. Part of the reason they have that is because of the man with the ball. Iverson for three. Big bucket from Allen Iverson.
Rip Hamilton got tripped or fell down anyway, and Allen Iverson took quick advantage of it.
Iverson now with 25 points. 11 of those coming here in the third quarter.
Detroit will hold, but the Sixers should get a possession and an opportunity to score.
Shot clock down to 7. Phillips on the drive. And foul on the way to the basket. Sixers not a penalty. Let's see if they ball in the act of shooting. Yep. So Phillips will shoot two.
That's unfortunate for Iguodala, who reached in to make the foul call. Mark Jackson was in perfect position to block Phillips' pass to the basket.
Iguodala his fourth foul. And Chauncey Phillips to the line.
Phillips has been very quiet. Mike only 2 for 10 from the field. He does have 4 assists. Excuse me.
Reminder to support your team in the playoffs. Log on to NBAstore.com and shop for your playoff gear. Lindsey Hunter will check in. Hamilton will sit. The thing about Phillips, though, as you mentioned, not shooting the ball well, but he's a good rebounding guard, obviously distributing, and his defense. He does not normally get called when people talk about the best point guards in the NBA. He's usually not one of the first guys you mentioned, but he deserves to be because of his all-around game.
And the bigger the game, the better he plays. MVP for the finals last year.
Lindsey Hunter with a foul. Pistons had a foul to give.
But again, Allen Iverson can take it past Lindsey Hunter. That'll put pressure on the interior defenders to stop Allen before he gets to the rim.
Darvin Ham will check in. Phillips will sit, so Ham will play some defense in the final 8.4 seconds.
AI will take it.
Rodgers. A contested shot won't go. And there's the rebound from McDyess to end another strong quarter from Detroit. Rasheed Wallace explodes with 16 points in the period. And he now leads the Pistons with 21 points and 8 rebounds. After the early struggles, the defending champs now with a double-digit lead. This presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. It's just the 16 points in the first quarter, but they've doubled that in each of the second and the third and have a 10-point lead as we head to the fourth. Allen Iverson, of course, leading the league in scoring and ice packs once again.
But I think it's the Pistons defense that's giving him more of a headache. He's been well defended by Rip Hamilton, and the Sixers have gone perimeter. They did not shoot a free throw in the third period.
Hunter begins with Prince, McDyess, Ben Wallace, and Richard Hamilton. Jackson pushes in against McDyess, and an offensive foul on Mark Jackson. Jim O'Brien does not like the call as we go to Jim Gray.
All right, Mike, as we look at the Pistons defense right there, and you're talking about Tayshaun Prince. He told us yesterday that when he was in high school, that his high school coach, Russell Otis at Dominguez High School in Compton, which is just outside of Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area, he didn't give them a ball the first hour of practice. They had to practice just defense, so there was no ball. And then if the ball came in, and they started using the ball and they stopped playing defense, the whole rest of the practice there wouldn't be a ball. So that's where he has gotten all of his defensive effort, because it has been drilled into his head since he was just a young man. Iverson on the three, Mike.
All right, thank you, Jim. And I'll tell you what, Jack, and you know this as well as anybody, the high school coaches are the unsung heroes in terms of the basketball development.
Oh, indeed they are, Mike. They set the groundwork for whatever a player becomes.
Boy, do they set a groundwork for the defensive mindset of Prince. More free throws coming up now for the Pistons. Meanwhile, Iverson hits another three-pointer. He now has 4 for the game. It's a 7-point game.
You know there is absolutely no quit in Allen Iverson. But that being said, he's got to find a way to get into the defense and create plays for himself and his teammates. That's what makes the Sixers the team they are.
Hamilton misses. The NBA playoffs on ABC continue tomorrow. The Heat hosting the New Jersey Nets. They start their Eastern Conference playoffs. That series begins tomorrow at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on ABC. Both free throws missed from Hamilton. And Bernie Fryer wants to check out something. I think there's some blood somewhere. He looks over at Rip Hamilton.
That's rare for Rip Hamilton, who's an 86% shooter for the regular season.
And their longtime head athletic trainer, Mike Abdenauer, quickly on the scene. And we're going to have a timeout.
Sixers trying to regroup, get this game going. It's only a 7-point differential, so they're still very much in this game. But the offense has to be quicker. They've got to get into the open court. They've got to get penetration. And they've got to prevent the Pistons from getting second chance opportunities.
During the regular season, the Pistons won 3 of 4. The one game that Philly won was the last one. That was on March 23rd. It was actually the largest deficit or largest defeat of the season for the Pistons. Now, they played without Rip Hamilton in that game, but Philly shot a season high 54%. The game was at Philadelphia. So they have some confidence that they can beat them.
Iverson had 39. Iguodala had a triple-double, and the Pistons played without Larry Brown as well.
Rodney Rogers for 3.
We need that from Rogers.
Rogers 0 for 3 off the bench. Here's the tough matchup you spoke of. Prince flips. Oh, Prince off balance, flips it in off the glass.
That is a great drive. He settled for jump shots on the last 2 opportunities against Rogers. Instead of taking it to the basket, he drove it home on that one.
Good entry pass to Mark Jackson. Blocked by Ben Wallace. His 5th block of the game. The extra pass.
Unselfish basketball by the Pistons. They're very tough to beat when they defend like that with Wallace blocking shots in the basket area and the pass work. That is their trademark.
And 4 quick points to put it back up to double figures. Iverson. Jackson. Blocked again! And Wallace throws it back a second straight time. Hamilton stripped of the ball, but it goes back into the Pistons' hands. Ben Wallace with 6 block shots. Korver pokes it away. Korver diving for it. And it's going to be Piston ball with 5 left on the shot clock.
Pistons basketball.
Take a look at the blocks in the basket area. Mark Jackson thinks he has one. Ben Wallace says, not in my house. 2 good blocks by the Pistons that stifles the Sixers in the basket area.
Still plenty of time remaining. McDyess hot in the first half. Had to rush it that time. Aaron McKee with a nice save. And a reaching foul on Richard Hamilton. That's going to be his 2nd foul. And first team foul on the Pistons.
And one of the few times the Sixers were able to get into the open court. It is critical for the Sixers. That's how they got that early 16-point lead. And when the Pistons shut that down, the Sixers did not have an answer.
And the Pistons do not want to get into the foul penalty early. Sixers a good free throw shooting team. Weber's been quiet. Iguodala not expecting the pass. Oh, Prince running the floor.
Good pass, Lindsey Hunter. Delivered that ball at exactly the time it should have been received.
Jim O'Brien wants timeout. As the Detroit Pistons defense leading to their offense once again.
When the Pistons defend, they can get into the open court as well. And they're getting some good fast break opportunities. Lindsey Hunter on an excellent pass. Tayshaun Prince on the one-hand slammer.
Tayshaun Prince with 19 points. It's a 13-point lead here early in the 4th of Game 1. Just over 3 minutes gone by here in the 4th. Time for our city storyline. The Pistons leading by 13. Rasheed Wallace exploded in the 3rd quarter. Allen Iverson carrying it offensively for Philly. McDyess had a strong first half off the bench, and Detroit, after a slow start, dominating the boards. So Detroit playing well, and Chauncey Billups says even with all that's happened this year, they're still a team that's ready to defend their title.
We feel like we're the best team right now. We haven't had the best season, and we understand that we've had a lot of hurdles to cross throughout this season, but we feel like, we're the best team out there, and if other people feel that way, they got to come through Detroit, and show that, and we just feel that way, and when we play with that confidence, we're just a tough team to beat. There are some other great teams out there that we know that, we got to deal with too, but we're always up for the challenge, man.
Well, they finished with the same exact record as they had last year in the regular season of 54-28, and they finished strong. Second half of the season, they were 31-10 as Rasheed Wallace picks up his third foul, and the second team foul of the Pistons. And they're back to playing the same type of ball they did last year, Jack.
They're playing great defense. They're playing together, and they're sharing the ball.
And Weber knocks down that three, and it's a 10-point game again. By the way, I want to correct myself. Hunter picked up that foul, his fourth, not Rasheed Wallace. Weber now with 22 points. Rasheed Wallace, McDyess keeping it alive, and Aaron McKee, the veteran. Hunter fights over the screen. Bear. Just kind of flipped it up. Not a good shot to take.
Tough shot. Jump hook going away from the rim. Not going to fall for you very often.
Dallenberg has been so active in his very first playoff game. 17 rebounds, which is too shy of his career high of any game he's had. And the travel call on McDyess.
Good defense by Dallenberg. I think McDyess sensed the longer player against him.
You see Ben Wallace tying the great Bob Lanier, one of the most blocks in the playoff game for the Pistons. Hamilton now on Iverson. So is Rasheed Wallace. Shot clock winding down. Iguodala. It's an end. Dallenberg knocked out of his hands. And there's the help defense. Prince puts it in.
Pull-up jump shot. Good decision, Tayshaun Prince. Drove it, defense collapses, pull up, knock it home.
Prince with 21. Iverson can't hit the three, and Rasheed Wallace another rebound.
This three's an over and out.
They're 6 for 16 from downtown. 12-point game with just under 7 to play. Prince. Boy, sets up Rasheed Wallace beautifully.
Oh, boy. Excellent play. Tayshaun Prince. Change of pace dribble. Driving to his right. Draws defenders. Rasheed Wallace could read David Stern's name on the ball before he shot that one.
A 15-point lead now as Weber comes right back. Every time the Pistons look like they're going to blow it wide open, the Sixers hit a three. Weber's got 25.
The Sixers need stops. They need that transition game to go again for them. And they need to rebound the ball on missed shots by the Pistons.
Rasheed Wallace knocks down another three, and he's got 27.
Oh, my. Rasheed.
His fourth three-pointer of the game, and this equals the largest lead for Detroit. Boy, they are really defending Allen Iverson well. Iguodala draws the foul. Andre Iguodala will shoot two.
They're loading up on Allen Iverson. When he comes off the screen, the defender on the screener is staying with Iverson, which gives him two defenders, and his teammates aren't knocking him down.
Rasheed Wallace, meanwhile, 27 points and 9 rebounds. Pistons in control.
He's knocking him down.
Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. and the United States Postal Service, USPS.com. It's just one more way the U.S. Postal Service is working for you.
Back at the Palace, the Pistons fans celebrating. We remind you tonight on ABC at 8/7 Central, the finale of The Little House on the Prairie, followed by Jurassic Park 3. Great movies all night long on ABC tonight, starting at 8/7 Central. A 15-point lead right now for the defending champs, as Andre Iguodala will go along with Jack Ramsey and Jim Gray. Mike Crane on hand here at the Palace. Producer Kenny Wolf and director Ken Dennis crew, beginning what we hope is a nice, long, fun playoff ride.
Well, the playoffs are going to be very exciting, and I still think Philly is capable of winning at least a game somewhere along the line, maybe more.
They're a different team on their home floor, as the two missed free throws, however, Weber for the offensive rebound.
Wallace.
Iverson, tough shot.
Terrific defense, Rasheed Wallace.
Again, we said this earlier, Ben Wallace deserves all the defensive plaudits, but Rasheed Wallace is also a special defensive player.
The Sixers, who got a flurry of turnovers early, have only forced 3 in the second half, and the Pistons have given up no points with it.
Good deflection.
Maybe this one.
Iguodala. And Rasheed Wallace keeps him out in a way. Weber will try another 3.
I don't like it for the Sixers. Oh, that pass by Rasheed.
He's got a big smile on his face. You can smile when you're up 15 in the fourth. Iverson, it's inside. It's knocked to the ground on a travel call.
They landed before he could get rid of the ball.
They have played. Allen Iverson has 28 points, Jack, but they played some terrific defense on him.
Yeah, this is going to cost them in the third.
It's a delay.
Louis Grillo, a very tolerant man.
Well, he does call a delay of game warning against the Sixers and Iverson. Game 2 will be Tuesday back here at the Palace. The Sixers are going to fly home tonight rather than stay because of the extra day in between. And then they'll come back on Monday, back into Auburn Hills. McDyess. Oh, first move from Antonio McDyess. And the largest lead of the game for the Pistons with 4:20 to play.
The Pistons are picking and choosing on whom to drive against.
15 points for McDyess. And you see the Sixers, after that great first quarter, it's been all Detroit.
Chris Webber.
Look at Weber's numbers, 27 points, 11 of 18 shooting.
But only 3 rebounds, Mike, and that's critical in a game like this.
Especially you look at Detroit, plus 13 in the rebounding department. Hamilton with 7 on the shot clock.
There he goes.
Help defense was late.
And another one. He knows he can beat Iron McKee to the basket. You've got to have weak side help, and nobody is coming.
Hamilton with 17. Iverson blocked for the foul. And Iverson will shoot as Antonio McDyess picks up his second personal.
Remember early in the game when the Sixers were getting to the open court, were getting all the way to the rim. The Pistons were quick shooting it. That's all changed.
Looked like a lot of contact there. Iverson will go to the line.
He drives so frequently and gets into the defenders so consistently that the officials give him the benefit of the doubt.
Tonight, the NBA playoffs continue on ESPN. Triple-header, 5:30 Eastern. Houston faces Dallas. Then the Pacers and the Celtics. And then finish off with Sacramento and Seattle. NBA playoffs available in Spanish on ESPN Deportes and in high definition on ESPN HD. 15-point game, just under 3.5 remaining in the fourth. And McKee with the foul. Pistons last year had the same problem early in the playoffs. They lost some games. In their first round against Milwaukee, they lost game 2. In the second round, they lost game 5 at home. Remember, they trailed Jersey 3-2. The third round, they lost game 1 at Indy. So in each playoff series, they had to overcome. They didn't have it easy till they got to the finals.
But they're driving it to the rim and having great finish.
Now in control, they lead by 15. Their defense has been superb, led by Big Ben Wallace.
Big Ben It's a stopper. Here's one. There's two. Here comes another. And another. Big Ben has 7 points, but he also has 7 blocks in this one.
And you look in postseason all time now, he's third in rebounding average, a tremendous average. Blocks as well, although some of the stats different from when Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell played. But rebounding, that is a spectacular number. And he's the guy that picks it up in the playoffs.
He's a dedicated team guy, gives the coach what he wants and what the team needs.
Hey, man! And even when the Sixers make a good defensive play, it winds up in the hands of the Pistons. We'll put this one away here in game one.
Sixers got off to a great start with turnovers, open court opportunities, and they capitalized on those. But since the Pistons have tightened the screws on their defense and the rebounding, it's been all Detroit.
Phillips again did not shoot the ball particularly well, but 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Prince with another terrific game. He has become a guy that excels in the postseason.
Kyle Korver forced him baseline. Samuel Dallenberg took a step toward him, but never challenged the shot. And Prince is doing a regal job.
He's got 23 points. Wallace rips down his 10th rebound to go along with those 7 block shots. And Larry Brown ready to put in 5 reserves and let these starters get the ovation they deserve. Hamilton inside. And Wallace lost it. And once again, the extra pass.
The extra pass got precedence over the slide of the foot.
Iverson for 3. Wallace tips it. Dallenberg comes down. Iverson trying to fight it, but a steal from Wallace. All right, Jack. One of the Sixers, as they prepare now for game 2, which will be Tuesday. And we're going to have a timeout, so we'll get into this on the other side. But what are they going to start thinking about to do differently?
Well, it all starts with defense and rebounding with the Sixers. They've got to get back to
play here in game 1 because Detroit has pulled away here in the second half, a 21-point advantage.
Well, Jim, both teams going to their benches freely now. But remember in this game when the Sixers were shooting 85% and the Pistons were shooting 30? That's all changed. Now it's the Pistons who are shooting the high percentage and the Sixers who are struggling.
Hunter, Darvin Ham, Milicic, Ron Dupree, and Carlos Arroyo. Hunter knocks down the shot. The lead is ballooned to 23. Pistons now shooting 53% from the field as they've hit their last 9 shots. And remember, they shot 30% in the first quarter.
Yep. This guy's going up.
You can tell.
And down.
Willie Green. So a lot of work to do for the Sixers. But I agree with you, Jack, especially when they return home. That is such a wild atmosphere to play, one of the best home courts in the NBA. And they still, of course, have game 2. And often, as Milicic misfires, often it's game 2 that road team can steal.
Well, it's any game, Mike. You've got to take advantage of what you can get. Willie Green trying to shoot his way into some playing time. I'm not sure it's going to happen with shots like that.
I want to remind the viewers, Dallas and Houston game 1 of that series starting on ESPN as we wind down an impressive game 1 for the defending champs. The Detroit Pistons overcome a 16-point early deficit. Use their great team defense, their balance and their ball movement, and they take game 1 of this opening round best-of-7 series. Rasheed Wallace, leading scorer for the Pistons with 29, also had 10 rebounds, but he had plenty of help. Final score from game 1, the Pistons 106 and the Sixers 85.